Now, in case you missed it, I actually got tagged to do a designer version of this video, link in the description below, but I figured why not, let's start a niche version, shall we? Hey forum, Manny back here with another video on the CascadeScents fragrance station, and this one is a tag on which 10 niche fragrances that I would keep for life. But as always, before we get on with everything, the goal for this video is 500 likes. If we reach that goal, I'll randomly PM a single subscriber within the comment section below, as it will be the recipient of an assorted niche fragrance sample pack. You can only enter the contest once per YouTube account, so please do not leave more than one comment, and please make sure that your YouTube account is enabled to send and receive inbox messages, and that you're subscribed to this channel if you are not so already. But anyway, we have a lot to get through with this list. Big shoutouts to ImagineScent for the initial inspiration for, of course, starting the designer version of this tag. And since this is a tag video, please be sure to watch until the very end just so you guys can know who I'm actually going to tag next. Now, as for my list, just like my designer one, this will not be in any preferential order, rather just the alphabetical order of each of the brands here. And also, I'm going to spice this up. I'll make sure that each of these are currently active, so no discontinued frags. And to keep it varied, I'll pick no more than one frag per mentioned brand. So just keep that in mind as I go, but anyway, we might as well get to the list finally, shall we? Here's my first pick, it's Lyric Man by Amouage. Legit, one of the most versatile scents on this list. Whether it's a little chilly, a little warm, or just right, Lyric Man does a job. But for the most part, Lyric Man is my go-to fresh rose scent for most of my smart casual spring occasions. Opens up with a juicy lime that transitions surprisingly well to a brighter wet rose that doesn't come off as perfumey despite retaining some of its traditionally rosy nuances. Like, it eventually still dries down kind of powdery and into a backbone of a light musk with a little incense. Just such a feel-good scent for me, which is why it seemingly always makes my annual spring lists, this year at number 1 even. So if that's not good enough reason to put this on the list, then I don't know what is. Again, it's the Rosy Lyric Man by Amouage, aka Bars Man. Moving on to the second niche fragrance for life now, here we go. It's Iris Fauve by Atelier des Ors. Now besides this, more than a few of their scents actually stuck with me because their line is just amazing, but they even look amazing too. Look at that bottle, very Goldschlager-like if you are into that liqueur. But scent-wise, this right here in Iris Fauve ended up sticking with me again the most out of all of them. It's essentially what I love most about Bois d'Argent by Christian Dior, but does it even better in my opinion. You have a totally unisex iris here, very luxurious stuff in the opening, but it dries down into a myrrh that treads both Old Testament territory and modernism, which is what I prefer for a scent like this. So overall, it's super opulent, formal, and just something I wish I could rock every day, and it's to die for. That being said, of course, I don't feel nearly bougie enough to rock this every day, but that's why it makes this list, again, the more resin-driven Iris Fauve by Atelier des Ors. On to my third fragrance for life now, here we go, Single Malt by Killian. Now, last year's #1 winter scent has to make the list, right? Now, Single Malt is my go-to going out scent for the cold, and the reason I appreciate it the most out of any of the overly boozy Killians is that it almost wants to be a solid fragrance first, minus the boozy gimmicks. Like, boozy is a good gimmick for a brand, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to go out and smell like liquor already, and all I did is just spray a damn fragrance. So honestly, despite being single malt whiskey driven in the opening, it feels more like a well-blended perfume overall, with a little bit of that plum in the heart that dries down a little woody, very gentlemanly, but very fun. And again, I really can't think of anything else I'd rather wear on a cool night out. That's why it makes the list. Again, Single Malt by Killian for the win. Now moving on to the fourth niche fragrance for life, this one's easy, Gypsy Water by BYREDO. I swear, every time I see Gypsy Water hated on in a forum or blog, I just die a little. It's like someone denigrating your child or something. But yeah, if you haven't figured it out, yes, G Water is my favorite scent ever. Like, it was love at first sniff for me, although I know some people find it mundane, but I personally get a somewhat complex yet familiar, slightly peppery, lemony opening here with some woods. Just very pleasant stuff for me here overall. But it has this coniferous element that I love soon in that dries down into vanilla and softer woods like sandalwood, and it's just overall a very adventurous romantic scent for me. Now don't get me wrong, I also wish that it performed better, but I am truly gutted that not everyone else gets the same scent development that I actually get out of the scent. So for me, this stuff is a complex yet simple enough scent for most of my preferred casual occasions. Again, that's why it makes a list, BYREDO's Gypsy Water, aka G Water. Moving on to my 5th niche fragrance for life, this one's pretty familiar as well, Silver Mountain Water by Creed. SM water is breathtakingly fresh in the opening, despite going a little inky, but ultimately remains super fresh into the light, musky dry down. Very smart, very versatile stuff here for the spring and summer, but believe it or not, I love rocking it for the winter too because of its cool, alpine nature that it's trying to evoke. I just feel like it's really fitting. But yeah, Creed is just an awesome brand overall, and it was hard to just pick one. Millésime Impérial might be my favorite one historically on just scent alone, but I'll only use it for the warmest of weather, and sometimes Aventus is too big of a performer for me, especially at work, but SM will always be just right. Barring the club, I feel like this will be almost always an appropriate scent to wear. That's why it's on the list. Again, Silver Mountain Water by Creed. On to the number 6 fragrance now, one of my autumn favorites, Like This by Atelier. Now this stuff has a slightly warm, spicy opening, but I get a lot of that Immortelle ASAP, which is like a caramelized herb, if that makes any sense. So when you combine that with notes of pumpkin and a slightly vanilla-y flower in heliotrope, you have an herbaceous, slightly gourmandish scent that's perfect for the autumn. Honestly, one whiff of Like This and you'll just want to do fall activities, you know, go for hay rides, pick pumpkins, go to Starbucks for a pumpkin spice latte, you know, white girl stuff. Real talk though, I low-key love activities like that because it's such a cozy time with the loved ones and all, and who doesn't love that, right? So for all things autumn, check this out if you've yet to. Again, it's Like This by Atelier. Now moving on to my lucky number 7 niche fragrance for life, here we go. It's Frédéric Malle's Les Méditerranées. Now this stuff is as nautical as it is floral, and for that I love it as one of my go-to summer scents. Like, I historically love florals because of their sheer beauty, but this spicy ginger lily is so different than most mainstream florals on the market, and surprisingly an awesome note to pair with that nautical sea breeze accord. Doesn't go perfumey whatsoever, it's just super pretty the whole time, but the kind of pretty you want to take out on a yacht and just live it up with because of the sea breeze. That's what I get from the vibe here in Les. Also to note, Les is surprisingly super beastly, especially in the sun for me, so thankfully I don't have to go too hard on the trigger here, and for that I really can't complain. So please check this out if you've yet to, especially if you're into alternative spring or summer florals. Again, it's Les Méditerranées by Frédéric Malle. Now moving on to my number 8 fragrance for life, an even more recent summer fragrance favorite, it's Note de Yuzu by Maison Kitsuné in collaboration with James Heeley. Real talk forum, best opening ever, or it is sure as hell up there for me. Like, that almost sparkly, bittersweet yuzu citrus note here is just way too good, and I almost want it to be super long lasting, but I'm reluctantly happy that it isn't because citruses go right on my skin and feel kinda cloying if they do last that long. But I guess this is my token subpar performer on this list because I actually don't mind respraying this because it's that darn pleasant. Then it's salty too with some vetiver, which I love, kinda like Celle Marine by Heeley as well if you have smelled that, but again with a godlike yuzu opening instead. So if you're into alternative yet really familiar citruses and are looking for a new summer scent, please check this out if you've yet to. Again, it's Note de Yuzu by Maison Kitsuné in collaboration with James Heeley. Next up, almost there for I'm winding down, here we go at number 9, it's Another 13 by Labo. Super synthetic yet super versatile, all season awesomeness right here. Another 13 is that synthetic ISO-E super note, manipulated here in a papery yet musky way. Got a little bit of a slight fruitiness here too to make it seem not as linear, but nevertheless it still is. Simple yet creative in my opinion because not a whole lot else straight up smells like this in my experience, but yeah, one of my go-to dumb reach scents for spring and autumn here, but you can go less sprays for summer if you really want to project, and it's still more than potent enough for the winter, at least my southern Canadian winters, so yeah, I really can't complain in that department either. So for all your all-purpose, all-season needs, check this out if you've yet to. Again, it's Another 13 by Labo. And last but not least, we have my 10th and final niche fragrance for life, it's Pikovaya Dama by Xerjoff. Honestly, forum, I smell this stuff and I immediately think that I'm not worthy. Like, I can tell it's made as like a rich person's all-around signature scent. However, it does lean spring and summery, which I like with its citrus floral, and aldehydic opening. Like, you catch a whiff of this and it's so sparkly that it kind of pops in your nose, if that makes any sense. Just really uplifting stuff here before drying down into a super opulent orris and musk with a little bit of sandalwood. So I'll reach for this ostentatious blend whenever I'm feeling my best / craving one of my favorite notes in that powdery orris / iris. So again, big thanks and shout out to Xerjoff for this one. It's a super bougie, super aesthetic Pikovaya Dama. But hey, anyway, I think that's it for them. Hopefully you enjoyed the Keep 10 Fragrances for Life niche edition. Now, of course, there are hundreds and thousands of fragrances out there that I may fall in love with furthermore in the near future if I actually get the time to smell them. So please keep in mind that out of the fragrances that I have smelled, these are the ones that I feel the strongest about right now. But what about you? How do you feel yourself? Which 10 niche fragrances would you keep for life if you could only keep 10? Please let me know in the comment section below. But anyway, it's also that time where I get to tag certain peeps myself. This is exciting. Whom should I tag here? Just because it was his video idea initially, I think it's a good idea to tag CascadeScents himself. But I'm also going to tag the OG taggies of the initial tag, so Big Beard Business and GENTS, you're also up too. However, I really want this tag to spread like wildfire. It would be super dope if this was even half as big as the designer version. So let's get the Asian perfume community furthermore involved. So I also want to tag the Big Homie Perfume channel. So Timmy, Beard, Ashton, Nikhil, you're all up, boys. Please do your thing now. I know you all will. But as for me, Forum, I believe my work here is entirely done now. As always, if you enjoyed the video and or it put a smile on your face, please thumbs up and subscribe if you've yet to. Remember, 500 likes and a random subscriber in the comment section below gets an assorted niche fragrance sample pack. So please help me help you, and until then, salute and thank you for your time as always. Take care for now. Peace out. Bye. Where are your fragrances?